Today we'll talk about the book Never Split the Difference, Negotiating as Your Life Depended on It by Voss. Now the author Chris Voss has worked with the FBI as an international hostage negotiator, and he'll be revealing all of his persuasion secrets in this book today. But at the end of this video, you'll be able to understand how people think and apply that to your game and your business. Let's crush it. Before I crack into the actual thing, if you're meeting for the first time, I am Brian, and on this channel we talk about social circle game, social skills, and personal development. So if you want to see more on these topics, then definitely subscribe to the channel. What is this book about? Never Split the Difference is all about persuasion. Persuading, negotiating, influencing, people skills, and quote-unquote convincing, even though there's a level above that, and we'll be talking about more later in this video. But let's say you're an entrepreneur, you're in business, you're in sales, and you want to create situations where you want the other person to feel like they won. It feels like the other person had the better deal by buying one of your products or doing that business deal. Let's put this into game. Let's say you're interacting with the girl you found attractive, and our whole goal is to have the girl pull you. Like that's the whole reason why we got to get in the first place. It's not us trying to bust out these party tricks and try to trick and manipulate to like take the girl home. But no, it's rather you show the girl how amazing it is to spend time, like you and the girl spending time together, that she wants to extend this interaction. She wants to take you out on a date. She wants to take you home. Like that's the whole point. So even though the fundamentals here, the principles may need to be adjusted and tweaked a little bit depending on these different contexts, but the fundamentals apply, and you can actually apply these in different areas of your life. So let's talk about the key concept. So the key takeaway I've gotten from this book is something called making it their idea. Now, when we say making it their idea, it's not us trying to trick or lie or trying to shove it down their throat to make them want to make that idea to happen, but rather is framing in a way that's showing them that they're actually winning from this deal, from the situation, rather than you trying to convince them or trying to qualify yourself into this interaction. So in negotiation, in sales, in business deals, there are three types of yeses: the counterfeit, the confirmation, and the commitment. Now the counterfeit is when someone says yes, but they're just saying yes to get out of the situation. So for example, let's say you're talking to a girl, and then you go for the number close, you go for the social media close, and the girl gives you the number, she gives you her Instagram handle, but when you text her, she doesn't text you back. And a lot of times that's because she just wanted to get out of the situation. If you don't do a proper job of interacting with the girl at that moment, then what happens is the girl's gonna feel uncomfortable, and she's just gonna give you the number and give you the social media handle just to get out of the situation, so you go away. So it's kind of like a dog treat. It's like, hey, take this dog treat, get out of my face. So a lot of guys kind of get frustrated when they get these kind of responses, because like men are so logical that we think, okay, like she gave me her number, great. You text her, she's not texting me back. Text her again, she's not texting me back. I was like, what the fuck, you bitch? But the problem here is that you really lacked empathy in the situation because they're trying to get out of the situation. So let's move on to confirmation. So confirmation is when you're saying yes, but you're not really bought into that idea per se. They're not really excited about that idea. They're just like, okay, I say yes, and this could happen, great, but I'm not really excited about it. It's like, kind of let it happen. So it's not the worst case situation, but it's almost like a neutral, it's like a yes, but not really a yes. You really gotta like push more and try to like persuade them a little more in the situation. And the last type of yes, which we're going for, is the commitment. So commitment comes into play when the other person is really bought into the idea. They wanted to make it happen. They're excited about it. When you don't talk about it, when you don't follow up, they're like, hey, are we actually gonna do that thing? Like, what the fuck? Are we gonna do it or not? So they're really excited about that idea when they're committed. So again, same situation. Let's say in game, for example, if the girl's committed, if the girl's invested into the interaction and the idea of you and her hanging out together, then everything becomes really easy. Everything becomes almost, you don't have to do much work. Like the girl will do a lot of the work for you. So if you have the girl invest a lot into the interaction by during the breaks and rapport and the heavy qualification and the deep rapport, then what happens is that you don't really have to go for the pull. A lot of times what happen is the girl will ask for your number, girl will ask for your Instagram, the girl will ask you what you're doing later today, what you're doing next week. So this is really what we're going for here, like making it their idea. Like they want it to happen rather than you trying to, like persuade. And that's really not the number one goal we're asking for. Of course, like we have to pursue initially, but after that we want the other person's like flipping the script. We talked about that in the other videos. Flip the script so they want the idea to happen more than you want it to happen. And when it does happen, they don't get buyer's remorse. Like buyer's remorse is when a customer buys a product, they kind of like regret it once you get it. It's kind of like our psychology works in a way that once we want something really bad, but once we get something, we don't want it anymore. And like in dating, for example, you and the girl hook up, and the girl regrets it immediately. Like the girl feels slutty. She's like, "What was I doing? I was drunk. I made a mistake." But when she is committed, when the other person is committed, then the buyer's remorse doesn't happen as much. So that's what we're aiming for. So how do we get the other person committed or invested into the idea? So how we do it is asking the other person for the solution. So to give you an example, let's say you're going out tonight and then you invite a girl out. Hey, my friends are going out, you should totally join us. And she says yes. Now through text, it's a little hard to tell, right? Is it a confirmation, counterfeit, commitment? You can kind of see through the nuances, but you want to make sure that she's really committed. So how you do it is, okay, so how are you getting here? How, are we getting here by Uber? Are you walking? Is someone dropping you off? And they'll give you an answer. And you want to dig deep into the interactions, the answers, the solutions. And you can do it face-to-face in all forms. And the more the other person dives deeper into the solution, then the more invested they are and the more committed they are, that it boosts the chances of that idea actually happening like tenfold. So this also comes into the idea of tactical empathy. So what tactical empathy, if I can speak English here, is when you're understanding what place the other person is coming from rather than the exact words that are coming out of your mouth per se. So it's you caring about not what they want, but why they want it. Why do they want it? Because they can say one thing, but it doesn't have to be that thing exactly if you solve that issue, if you solve the reason first. So I mean, the common thing is, why do people want money? Why do people want to get rich? I mean, a lot of people, they don't really care about the stacks. Like, they don't really care about the numbers on a fucking paper. What they care is what money brings. Money brings freedom. You can buy food you enjoy eating. You can spend more time with your family, your friends. You can go travel and you can see the world, and you can buy clothes that fit you, and you can actually put food on the table, and you have a ceiling above your head. This is what money brings. So it's not necessarily what money itself, but what money brings. So think about why the other person want that thing rather than what they want. So this is the whole idea of making it their idea. So let's talk about the results I've gotten from this book so you can get a general idea of where this book can help you. So for me, reading this book has helped me understand networking, helped me understand human psychology, helped me understand game, how women think, how people think. And the thing is, this book was a lot of the examples in this book are from the author Chris's experiences with working in the FBI as an international hostage negotiator, but this can apply to other areas. For me, example, I applied these principles into my game, into my networking, into the way I carry myself, the way I persuade people, the way I influence people. This is who I am rather than what I do is slowly turning into that point. So obviously when you first start, it's what you do, is the techniques, the schemes, the tactics, but eventually you get a sense of how you can part of who you are. That way it doesn't feel kind of weird. It doesn't feel like you're like busting out these like party tricks out of your pockets, but it's like who you are now. So reading this book, you actually can create win-win situations. I mean, after reading the book, it has helped me how to elicit motivation. Luke talks about this a lot in Soul Circle Game, how if you elicit the other person's motivation, it's just gonna help you bond the relationship and create one-on-one situations. Like with the girl, you can create one-on-one situations where you are both gaining something from the interaction, from the conversation, from the relationship, and you two hook up, and it's also a win. When you're networking with other people, when you're making business deals, you can create situations where like, okay, what do they want and why they want it, and you align it with yours, and you can actually both win. It's not like a zero-sum game where the other person is getting the benefit and you're losing, or vice versa. It's both of you winning. We're all winning. We're all making money. We're all winning. So what I love about this book is the fact that it does exactly that. It didn't teach me just about how to persuade or influence, but also it just helps you understand how the world operates. The world is all about value, whether you want to admit it or not. It's just how it is. You can call it shallow, you can call that value give, value take, but it's just how the world operates. So what are you going to do? You can either complain and kind of cry about it, you can feel depressed about it, but the bottom line is that it's just how the world works, and we live in that world. So what are you going to do? You just adapt, you align it, and then you move on from there. And one thing to add is that the book really helps you become a better problem solver. And you realize that the guys who are absolutely crushing it in game, in business, in fitness, they're really, really, really incredible problem solvers. They just know how to solve problems, because that's what life is like literally all about. How you do anything is how you do everything. So once you become a better problem solver in one thing, then you can easily apply that and adapt in other areas of your life. So as we're wrapping up here, we talked about how making it their idea creates win-win situations, how you find out what the other person wants and why they want it, and you align it with yours, and you both commit into the interaction. That way there's a higher chance of that idea actually happening. Now, this book is extremely tactical, extremely strategic, and tangible. Like, you can apply the ideas that are discussed in this book right away. That's what I like about it. However, do not use this book, the ideas talked about in this book, in the wrong way. The modern philosopher Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. So do not use this book to manipulate, to trick people, to lie to people. Just come from good intentions. Thank you for watching this video. Now, if you enjoyed the topics we talked about today about persuasion, negotiation, human psychology, and you want to learn more about it, then I'll put the link to the book in the description box below, and you can check out the book and learn more about it. And if you want to see how these principles can actually apply in human interaction, in game, meeting women, creating kick-ass social circles, how to network with successful people in your city, definitely subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell. That way you get notified every time a new video comes out, and you get a clearer, more specific idea of how these ideas can implement in your life. Let's turn it over to you now. Out of the 3 yeses we've talked about today, which one do you get the most? Are you getting the counterfeit? Are you getting the confirmation? Or are you getting the commitment? So I'm curious to hear. Leave it down in the comment section below. So I'll see you in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.